Hello everyone, good morning. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Sanjay.
Yes, Yavan.
Okay. So let me share my screen. Hope you're able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, Venkat.
Okay. So in our last session, we have discussed about the data, right? So what is data? So what is the importance of data? And what is the differentiation between data and the information? So we have seen all these things, and we have seen very good examples of a typical application development process, right? And we also seen what is metadata, right? So these are some key things that we have discussed. One second, who's this? Okay. Okay, so these are some key things that we have discussed in our last session. So today we will discuss about what is DBMS or what is RDBMS, right? So and we also discuss different ways to store the data, right? So let us start with the storage of the data. Okay, so now we know, depending on the application development process. So in our last session, we know applications are the medium to communicate with the customers for any kind of a business. Are you with me on that point, guys? do you
Yes,
do you understand how that process will work, right?
yes,
Yes.
yeah, Venkat.
Yeah, yeah. So for any type of business, applications or web applications or mobile applications, or for that matter, any kind of application will act as a medium for communicating with the customers. So our job, our software engineers, as a software engineers, what we do, we build those applications, we give support, okay, and we make them running so that it will generate business to the end users, so that business will pay us, right? So that's how it happens. Now, as a data engineer, so our key roles and responsibilities includes around the data. Okay, how we maintain the data of that applications, how we manage, how we build data platform, how we perform analytics, how we derive information out of that entire data sets. So this is what our responsibility includes. Okay, so remember, to do all our activities, this data from the web applications should be stored in some particular places. So those places are very important. Okay, so you entered or you are communicating with the web application. So when a customer object or a customer in a typical business or a retail business, if we take retail business as an example, a customer object is communicating with the retail store. So now, as and when you have given your mobile number, so they will attach your mobile number to the sale that you have done for them, right? So this is the customer data. So as and when you complete the transaction, where your data will be stored, it has to be stored somewhere, right? So that's where the concept of database management systems will come into the picture. Okay, so DBMS and RDBMS systems are very, very important in a typical software industry. We have to understand that concept. Okay, so what is this DBMS or RDBMS, right? So DBMS meaning database management systems, RDBMS meaning relational database management systems. So these systems are very, very important to maintain or manage our data. Okay. So these systems build on top of few principles. Okay. So there are few set of principles that has declared when scientists develop these kind of technologies. So these DBMS and RDBMS systems runs around these principles. Okay, so that concept we'll call it as DBMS. Okay, that concept, database management systems, is a concept which describes about the rules that has to be followed when we are creating a database. Okay, so remember this DBMS is a set of principles which will be utilized when anyone is building their own database. Let us take an example. IBM or Microsoft or Oracle, these are the key database software providers, right? So when they are building these database software, so this software should be built on top of few set of principles. Okay, so these principles are very, very important and they have to follow. That's it. So these are kind of a rules. That means these rules will impact their database development process. Okay, so before going to this database management systems concepts, let us understand what is a database first, right? So database is a software which can be utilized to store, manage, manipulate our data. Okay, so be very, very clear, guys. Database is a software which can be utilized to store, manage, manipulate our data. So from where this data is coming? It is coming from the web application. How web application is getting the data? Web applications are mediums to the customers, right? So for any business, there will be a web application, and with that web application, users are getting connected, and then customers are interacting with the web application, and in the back end, data is getting generated. Okay, that data will be stored in the databases. So database is again a software which will be supporting this application for storing and retrieving, managing and manipulating the data that is coming from the customers. Okay, so be very, very clear on that front. Any application in the world, you name any application, it has to have a database software at the back end. Okay, so it is the key, or I can say it is the heart of your application. Okay, so the application run or application runtime is always depends on your database system. Okay, so I have a UI, I have API, but if you don't have DB, then there is no use of that application, right? Because it has to read data from the database, it has to push data to the database. So the API layer should be always communicating with your database system. Okay, so UI, most of the times UI doesn't have direct connectivity to the database system, but the middle layer, the API layer, is always connected to your database system. Okay, so that is what the importance of the database. Okay, so we use database to store, manage and manipulate the business data. Okay, so when I say data, it's not our personal data, right? It is always the business data, so which is coming from the application, and that application intention is to generate the business, right? So be very, very clear on that front. So once we have the data stored in the database, then the data engineer part will start. Till that, stage, that is application development. Be very, very clear. Okay, your data is generated from the web application and it came to the backend, and in the backend it got stored in the database. Okay, and now the data engineer will enter. Your application is developed and then it is running in the production. Okay, your business, business owners deployed that application, and that application users are connecting, customers are connecting to that web application, and then there it is started running in the production and it started generating the data into the database. Then the data engineer will come, will take the data that has been generated and apply the analytics on top of it, and then generate the business value. Okay, generate the business value. Okay, so we will see the in-depth of our roles and responsibilities in our next slides. But for now, try to understand what is the importance of database in the real world applications. Okay, so that with that, I'm just concluding the database software. So who are these database software providers? Let us understand about this also. So this is very, very important. So if you see, I'll just give you an example, guys. So everything in this world is a business, right? It runs, with some intention behind the business. So if you see, let us take an example. The shirt we are buying. Let us take an example. We are going to the shop and we are buying a shirt. Right? So the core principle for the shirt is to cover your body, right? But for that shirt, you assume how many brands we have, right? So the core thing behind that shirt is actually to cover our body, right? But there are hell lot of brands which will manufacture different shirts with the different comfort levels. Okay, so there is Louis Philippi, there is Peter England, Alan Solly. So these are different brands. They'll do the same work, but the difference comes in the quality of the product and in the features that they are providing, right? Similar to that, in the software industry also, everything is a business. Okay, so this database is also a package which will be utilized to store, manage, manipulate our data. So companies came, together, and this IBM. Let us take an example. They have, they used the DBMS concepts and they built this database software, and they added a few IBM flavor to it. Okay, so and similarly, Microsoft came into the picture and they developed database software and they added some Microsoft flavors to it. Okay, so similarly, Oracle is one of the company who manufactured this database software. So the core principle behind this database is same. What is that core principle? Store, manage, manipulate the data. But each and every company has developed the software by their own and added their flavors. Let us say IBM. IBM's database is DB2. Microsoft's database is SQL Server. Okay. Likewise, Oracle database is Oracle, and Teradata's database is Teradata. So likewise, we have different database softwares in the market. So we call them as technologies, right? So the Oracle is one technology, SQL Server is one technology. The reason why we call them as technology, along with the core database principles, Microsoft will provide some additional features. IBM will provide some additional features. Teradata will provide some additional features. So the business owners will pick the database according to their business. Okay, so for example, I need more security. I need the key thing for my business is the security. So in that front, I will choose my database accordingly. So the database which is having more security features. right? So it is as simple as we buy a shirt, guys, right? It depends on our comfort, so we go and we try and then we pick. Similarly, in the software industry also, business users will do some POCs and then they will select their database software, right? So POC meaning proof of concept, so they will do a POC which will give best performance for their business, right? Which database system will give best performance to their business. So that's how a database system will be selected for a typical business. Okay. Now, usually we see a compatibility, match between Java and Oracle. Okay. So if the API layer is Java, so 70% of the projects will run the backend database as Oracle. Okay. If the API layer is .NET or C Sharp, anything, then the backend layer always will be SQL Server. Okay. If the API layer is mainframes as such, then the backend always runs in DB2. So these are some compatibilities that real time will follow. Okay. So now let us understand what is the concept of DBMS, right? So this DBMS is a set of rules. As I already told you, this DBMS or consists of set of rules. Okay. So let us take an example. I want to develop a database software. Okay. That's name is Venkat's database. Okay. So now if I want to develop a database package or software, I have to follow certain rules. Okay. Meaning the rule number one, the data that is storing in my database system should be always in the form of tables. Okay, table meaning I have to store only the structured data. Okay, this is one particular rule. And second rule is I have to provide schema on write feature, meaning before storing the data, I have to provide metadata. Then only once I have the metadata created, then only I have to add the data to my database table. So this is the second rule. And every table should have rows and columns. The data should be stored in terms of rows and columns. Okay. And the data should be followed. The data should be followed the type that it is declared. Right? For example, I'm storing employee name. It has to follow the string type that has been declared at the backend. So it has to follow the type. There is no other go. Okay. So that is the third rule. So likewise, we have set of rules in the DBMS concept. That rules should be followed by any software, database software in the world. Okay. So every database if you see DB2, SQL Server, Oracle, Teradata, every database should follow this basic DBMS concepts. Okay, so that is why across the globe, to communicate with the database. So for example, database is a software. It also acts like a kind of robo, right? So what it will do, it will communicate when when we start communicating with the database, it will give responses to you. Okay. So that's why the in the entire globe there is only one single language to communicate with the database systems. Okay, there is only one single language to communicate with the database system, whether it may be SQL Server, or whether it may be DB2, or it may be uh, uh, Teradata or Oracle. So there is one single language by using which we can communicate with any of these database systems. That language is SQL. Okay, so be very, very clear, guys. Structured query language. So this is the language which will be utilized to communicate with the database systems, because the core principle of every database that is there in the world is same. store, manage, manipulate your data. Okay. So, any questions, guys? Any questions? These are some key basic things that we need to know. Everybody should know. Okay, that's why I'm spending time in foundation first. Everybody can learn, the tools, guys. That's not a big deal. But we should know what the tool is doing internally, right? So in real time, that is very important to understand from the scratch. Otherwise, you won't be able to give your 100%, right? So anybody have any questions in understanding this database concepts? And this SQL is also one of the DBMS principle, meaning any database software that is coming to the market, it has to support the SQL language. This is one of the principles that every database software should follow. Okay, so any questions in understanding the DBMS as well as the database concepts? Any questions or queries?
No.
Are we clear? Are we clear on how actually the important is the database in the real world projects? And are we clear on what is database? Are we clear?
Yes.
I need to know. Yeah.
Yes, Ankit.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So let's move on to our next very important concept. Okay. So how a typical data platform will work in the background, right? How a typical data platform will work in the background. You have, let us take an example, guys. Okay, let us take an example. I always prefer to explain things with the example so that you'll get the complete understanding. Okay, so let's assume we have DMart. Okay, let's assume we have DMart. Okay, DMart, I mean, hope everybody knows about DMart, right? So this DMart is the business for this DMart is the retail business, right? So they will get lot of products they prepare or they buy it from vendors, okay, and they will maintain that data, okay, and then they will sell products, correct? That's the second side of it. The back end for DMart is they buy products from vendors or they prepare tags and then they make the retail stores ready. That's the back end. And the front end is customers will be communicating with the stores. Store is the medium here, and then inside the store we have the application. Okay, so customers will be communicating to the DMart directly by visiting the stores and then communicating with the sales application. We buy products and then we check out the store. This is the typical process that will happen. Okay, now let us understand this entire sale data of the customers has been stored in the backend database system. Okay, so forget about this slide. Okay, so let us see this example. So now, once the data has been stored in the backend system or database system, your sale application, generated the data, and then that data has been stored in the database. Now, your backend DMart system, right? Meaning, DMart already brought products, and that products for DMart they came at XYZ price. Okay, and DMart is selling those products from to some ABC price. Definitely that's what business, right? So they cannot buy and sell for the same price. That's the business, right? So they definitely the buying price is less than their selling price so that they can earn some profits. Okay, this is the business goal. Whether they are giving offers or they're reducing prices, that doesn't matter. End of the day, for them it should be coming to lesser price only. Okay. Now their backend data is stored in a separate database, and now this the front end data, meaning the customer's data, selling data, buying data for the DMart has been stored in a separate database because it is connected to a different application layer, and the selling data of the DMart has been connected to another database system, which is a different database software altogether. Okay, one is SQL server, another one is my Oracle. Okay, so assume you have two different database systems for DMart to store their buying information or buying data or selling data. Okay, now as a DMart owner, let us assume DMart owned by me. Okay, so now I I got a question. I mean, from past 2 years, I am running this business. Okay, so everything is going smooth. Customers are coming, and then they are buying products, and then they are happy or not. I don't know. Okay, now I just want to identify in these 2 years what is my profit. Okay, and by from which products I am seeing loss. Okay, from which products I am seeing profits. So this is something that I have to analyze. What is the purpose of this analyzation? The purpose of it is to grow my business. If I am not analyzing my business, what is happening, what is not happening, and where the wrong is happening, if I am not analyzing, then my business will fail for sure. Okay, even if you take a small general shop, they will do some analysis, right? Okay, so these many products got completed. Okay, these many products got left. Okay, and these products are not being sold, right? So these products are, the customers are very much interested in these products. So based on that, what we do as the business owners, we take decisions. That decisions will impact the business. Okay, now let us take this example, the same example. In the DMart store, I identified my profit and losses. Okay, and depending on this analyzation or analytics, I came to know that there are few products which are not being sold from past 2 years. I'm buying them, but no customer is interested to buy those products. Then in that case, what I will do after a certain period, I will take a decision. Okay, because of these products, I'm not seeing any profit for me, so I can remove those products from my store, and then I can replace them with the very well sold products, right? This is one decision which will increase my business, right? So this kind of decisions, it is one, but there are a lot many of these decisions of this kind, right? So understand the importance of decision making for a business, guys. So for a DMart owner, what is the work? He will go and sit in the office and he will monitor the sales report in a very big dashboard or a very big screen, and depending on that, he will take the decisions. Who are giving that report, guys? Who are giving that report to the business owners? It is us as a data engineers. It is us. We are generating the information from the raw data that has been generated across the globe. Be very, very clear about our role, guys. That is the importance of our typical data engineer role. Okay, if you see the same example, we have the MS SQL data or SQL Server data, and we have the Oracle data from the DMart, buying information and selling information, and we have taken that and we dumped it into a single space, and from that space we perform analytics. Okay, we do perform analytics on top of that data, and we generate the report to the business users. Okay, that's why I told you, as and when the data has been generated, our data engineer work will start. Our work is to guide the business owners, okay, by putting proper data points to them. Hey, see, from the last 2 years, this particular product has not been sold, you have to take a decision on it. Okay, so replace this product with most selling product. So then that is one decision. Okay, and from past 2 years, this is, this set of category is giving you loss. Okay, so I have to prepare in such a way that introduce new products here in this space, remove this product and introduce new products. That is one decision. And the third decision, hey, you have few set of customers who are visiting regularly, monthly twice they are visiting. Okay, provide some offers to them, attract the customers. This is one decision. So see, in a typical business, how a business owner is taking the decisions, right? So like this, how many businesses are running in the world, guys? Imagine, right? And we are working for all of the businesses across the globe. It may be a small business also. They need data analytics. That is the power of data analytics and data engineering. Okay. Now let us come back to this slide. Everybody understood the platform. I mean, everybody understood what is, data analytics. Why data analytics is needed.
Yeah, Venkat.
Okay, so now let us understand about this slide, right? So here, if you see, there is a application layer. Map our example to this, guys. Map our example to this. There is a application layer or API layer, and which is connected to the customers or the business users or whoever it may be, and they have started communicating with this API layer, and the data has been generated to multiple databases, right? So it may be Oracle, or it may be DB2, or it may be SAP HANA, any kind of a database system. And the database, which is tightly connected to the application layer, we call the database as OLTP. Okay, the database which is tightly connected to the application layer, we call the database as OLTP, online transaction processing system. OLTP, okay, online transaction processing. The responsibility of this database is, or the responsibility of the OLTP is to support frequent insertions, updations, deletions. Okay, the database system which is tightly connected to the application layer, we call it as online transaction processing database. You just give me a minute, please. Okay, so this OLTP system is tightly connected to the application layer, and it will support continuous insertions, updates, deletes, because users are continuously connecting to application, and then they are doing some transactions, and those transactions, it may be updates, or it may be deletes, or it may be inserts, right? So that will happen on top of this OLTP system on a regular fashion. Okay, so it supports transactions. Okay, it supports transactions. Okay, now on the once we have the data in OLTP systems, we have to perform analytics, right? We have to perform analytics. So every business need analytics. We know why we need analytics. Okay, now to perform analytics, they have to move this data to a central space. Okay, that space we call it as data warehouse. Be very clear and understand the differences between database and a data warehouse. Okay, database is a software which can be utilized to store, manipulate, manage your data, and which is tightly coupled to your application layer. But data warehouse is a system which will be utilized for your data analytics. Okay, and this data warehouse is also a database, but which is a very huge compared to your database. Okay, so your data warehouse, you can name it as collection of database systems. Okay, it is a collection of database systems, meaning we dump data from multiple database systems or multiple OLTP systems to your data warehouse system. Okay, and this data warehouse system is responsible for data analytics. Now you can ask a question. Hey Venkat, you are saying data warehouse is also a database, but it's of a bigger size. And database we already have. Why can't we perform data on top of the database system itself? Right? End of the day, it's a structured query language. We can communicate with data warehouse also with the SQL or SQL. We can communicate with the database OLTP also with the SQL. But why we need two systems? We still can go and run our analytics on top of the database directly, right? Anybody have any guess why we need a separate system to perform analytics? Come on, guys. Yes, it's okay
Store,
even if it is wrong.
storing the huge amount of data.
Yes, one of the answers. Another, any guesses? Any other guesses?
A large amount of data.
Okay, large amount of data. Because of large amount of data, what will happen?
There will be performance issues.
Okay, so what is the outcome of all these performance issues?
Mm,
Access
So
data that
your
has been.
application will crash, right?
yeah.
Are you with me, guys? Let us take an example. I stored my past 5-10 years of data into these OLTP systems, and I am running my analytics also into this on top of this OLTP systems. Now, analytics queries are very huge in nature, so they will consume lot of compute resources. They will consume lot of compute resources. So now where your application will run, application also needs some hardware compute, right? Application also needs some RAM cores from the server. But if you run analytics queries on the same OLTP system, your application will go down. Now where your customer business will run, right? So end of the day, the goal is to make that production application running and customers start interacting with that application and keep on generating the business. Assume if your Zomato is down for 1 hour, guys. Okay, if you open your Zomato app, it is not working for 1 hour. Assume how much loss will happen to the Zomato business owner, right? So that kind of a situation will happen if you run analytics also on top of the OLTP system. Your application will goes down, and your application will face a lot of performance issues, which will impact your business, which not your business, your business owner's business. Okay, so that is the critical thing. So that's why a typical data platform will be prepared by using a special process called ETL, extract transform load. This is a process that we use to generate a data platform. Okay, to generate a data platform, this data platform meaning data warehouse, which can be utilized for the analytics. So now we have data in multiple different OLTP systems. We use a process called extract transform load to build the data warehouse system. And this data warehouse system will be further utilized for the analytics. And then this analytics will help in decision making. And this decision making will help in business growth, and this business growth will add business value. End of the day, it's money. Okay, so understand the flow. ETL, extract transform load, this is a process will follow to load data from multiple OLTP systems to a central data warehouse system. Okay, so we call data warehouse system as OLAP system. Okay, we call data warehouse system as OLAP system. OLAP, online analytical processing system. Okay, so you need to understand the differences, guys. OLAP system is mainly meant for data analytics. OLTP system is mainly meant for application. Okay, this is the difference that you need to understand. Are you with me, guys? Any questions or any queries? So yeah.
One question, yeah. This OLTP databases will have real-time data, right?
Yes, yes,
This business stations will make on OLAP data, like
yes,
database.
yes, yes, yes.
There will be some delay, right, from OLTP to OLAP. Like
Yeah,
we cannot make decisions on real-time data, right?
we can do that. So it depends on the data engineering pipeline that we build. So
Okay.
if our data engineering pipeline is a batch pipeline, then the customer or the business will take decisions on a periodical fashion. Let us say quarterly I want to take the decisions, or monthly I want to take the decisions, or weekly I want to take the decisions. Then batch pipeline will suffice that requirement. But if a business user or business want to understand the real-time view of their project, then we have to build a real-time data pipeline using the streaming technology.
Okay.
Okay, this streaming technology will support the real-time ingestion or real-time data loading to the data warehouse system, and that data warehouse system will be of real time. Then they can build reports. But I can say there won't be any kind of a complete real time 100%. But till now we have reached around 95%, so which is near real time we call it as.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
And what is the limit of this OLTP and OLAP systems? Like, is there any specific limit that we can store data?
No,
This.
it depends on the business, right? Let us say the business will take the decision in such a way that the architect will when architect is connecting to the business analyst, he will put all these points. Hey, how much, how many days of data you need in your database system? Let us take an example of your banking application. Okay, you went to your mobile banking application, you open your recent transactions, it will show you only 10 to 20, right? So that means your HDFC owner has told to your business analyst saying, hey, for a typical customer, I want to show only past 10 days transactions, but if they need more than that, they have to request for a statement. This statement request will go to OLAP, but your mobile app transactions, right? Those will utilize your OLTP. This is the best example to differentiate, right?
Okay.
But the decision will be taken by business.
Okay.
Let us say I need to store 1 month data in my OLTP system to support my application history transactions. Okay, but if the customer needs after, before data, then they have to request for, they'll give another page to enter dates and all, and then submit, so that we'll get the report from the OLAP.
Okay.
So this is the best example, but the decision has to be made from the business, depending on analyzing the domain of it. For a retail business, how it will be. For a banking business, how it will be. For a healthcare business, how it will be. It differs depending on the domain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any other queries? Yeah, this kind of questions you should ask, guys. You should not blindly sit and listen what I'm telling. You should use your brain to ask questions, so that you will get the full clarity on it. Okay. So that's all for today. So I don't want to push everything today into your brains. Okay. So today, try to understand we have OLTP systems, we have OLAP systems, and we have ETL process, which will be there in any kind of a business in the world. You name any business, it will be there. This sequence will be there. Okay. So that is why data engineers are very important in the market. Okay. So, and if you see the technology stack, we have Teradata, Oracle, SAP HANA as data warehouse systems. Even SQL Server also is a data warehouse system. Okay. And then Oracle, SAP HANA. You see on the both sides, we are using the same technology. You can ask the question, hey Venkat, you said DB2, and here also it is DB2 or Teradata. So when you are setting up your database system, the companies also provides the data warehouse features and database features. So when you are setting up itself, it will ask for an option. Hey, you need to set up a database or you need to set up a data warehouse. So accordingly, you will get the features. Okay. So the ultimate aim is, even if it is a data warehouse, it's a database system only. Okay. Fine. So that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining once again on Monday.
Thank you, Venkat.
Yeah.